after the monster release of the first Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, selling a total of 5.02 million units on the PlayStation 1 alone, according to VGCharts.com, Activision saw an opportunity to strike while the iron was hot and greenlight a follow-up. With more added features and a more robust trick system, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 went on to be the highest rated game on the PlayStation 1, getting a Metacritic score of 98 out of 100. Pro Skater 2 was released on September 20th, 2000, just shortly under a year after the first entry. The following ports were then later released on the Nintendo 64, the Sega Dreamcast, Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance, PC, and the Mac. Like the original Pro Skater, I grew up on the Nintendo 64 version as I did not have a PlayStation 1 growing up. However, we are here to discuss the PlayStation 1 original release. So Pro Skater 2 pretty much just took everything that was great about the original and just did it better. The biggest thing that was an improvement from the original was allowing us to perform manuals. Being able to chain together our combos without needing to always land gave us the opportunity to get much higher scores this time around. Which is why when doing the challenges there are now what's called high, pro, and sick scores to each level. Speaking of challenges, Pro Skater 2 has doubled that amount that you can complete from what used to be 5 tapes to now 10 challenges on a checklist that you see right before the beginning of each level. Collecting the letters of the word skate or turn, as well as finding the secret tape. Having this many challenges to complete is, I think, a great way to bring replayability to your video game, and especially a fun way to stretch out the length of time that it actually takes to 100% your game, unlike the first Pro Skater, which doesn't take all that much to do. And when you do 100% the game, you actually unlock a secret playable character known as the Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah, considering Neversoft are the same developers of the PlayStation 1 Spider-Man video games, they made him a playable skater. He has his own moveset and special tricks that he can perform, along with a fun cinematic that you can play that comes along with him. Pro Skater 2 has a total of 13 playable pro skateboarders to choose from. All 10 skaters from the first game returned, along with 3 new additions including Steve Caballero, Eric Costin, and the legendary Rodney Mullen. You also have the unlockable skaters like Officer Dick, Spider-Man, which I mentioned before, and Private Carrera. What comes with selecting your skater is a brief biography about them, along with the newest feature of the game, which is the ability to increase the stats of each skater. When completing challenges in career mode, you are awarded with money. This money, which you can also find scattered through each level, is used to be able to unlock the later levels and spend on either buying new decks for your skater or increasing their stats. It doesn't take all that too long to be able to max out all of your stats. However, there is a bit of an issue that if you max out your hang time and air stats, that you will find yourself not being able to land your tricks correctly from overshooting yourself off ramps. You have 8 regular levels to skate on, which includes 3 of them being the competition modes that were introduced into the first entry, along with 2 bonus levels that you can unlock. You have the Chopper Drop and Skate Heaven. Skate Heaven can only be unlocked if you 100% the game with each and every single playable skater, which is absolute insanity. I do miss the idea of games having this though, because I feel like games make it all too easy to obtain things now, or they just allow you the options to simply buy them through the means of microtransactions. Granted, this level was unlocked for me through the means of cheat codes, so I really have no room to talk, I guess. Speaking of which, the cheat codes are something I do miss screwing around with. You have the classic big head mode and the ability to have a perfect balance when doing grinds or manuals. You also have smooth mode, which I have no idea. Oh God! What did I do? On top of having a checklist of challenges to complete, you also have a checklist of gaps from each level that you can keep track of if you really want to be a completionist. The most memorable thing for me with this game back in the day was the ability to have more creativity with it. You can create your own skater from scratch, you can go through your trick list and design it in a way that you are comfortable with, and the biggest one being able to create your own skate park. This gives you so many options to create your own level and that you can play yourself or with a friend. 2-player mode brings back the classic graffiti, trick attack, and horse game modes. They also added in tag, which is exactly what it sounds like, and free skate. So now you and a friend can freely skate around without the worry of a time limit or being competitive. The soundtrack is just as memorable as the first game, and I love the surge of nostalgia when listening to it. If there was anything to complain about this game, is the dumb big drop feature that warns you about being too high above the ground, which can make you bail as soon as you land. I get in terms of realism, you wouldn't want to do that in real life, but this is a video game that we're talking about. Thankfully, this feature never returned to the series moving forward. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 is a classic video game all the way through, and it's every bit as good as the original and more. I cannot wait to talk about the later titles as we journey through this series of reviews. Guys, my name is Pedro Ordonez, also known as GameLight7. Please subscribe, comment, like, thumbs up, do whatever you guys can to support this channel. Let me know what you guys would like to see me talk about in a future video, and I will see you guys next time in my next video. Peace out.